This is Druid XCDX, and let's talk about League of Legends Classic. A little late on this. My internet was bugging out, but we're back now. I want to talk about this show match and what they talked about in it, because Freak works on the game and stuff like that. I don't remember every single thing he says about the game, but let's talk about the good, and then we'll talk about what I don't like, and maybe what other people don't like, but or still I don't mind, but a little bit different. In the beginning of this gameplay, it's a little glitchy. I think it's just spectator bug, which they should have had fixed, but it eventually syncs up. It's just desync from spectator bug. So let's talk about what I like. So what they're doing in the game is they're kind of going season 1, 2, and 3, a little bit of changes in between, whatever they feel like is good. You know what I mean? They want to bring items that are kind of broken or kind of cool and kind of mess around with them. Obviously, we see the old map, but it does have a change in the map. We'll talk about that later and stuff like that. But they have all the items. They even have Revive right here. I'm doing that on the video. Obviously, they have all the old stuff, Teleport, Barrier, which I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure Barrier wasn't good back then. Nobody used Barrier back then. When you were playing ADC, you were playing heal. I think they're just stuck in their ways and they think Barrier is good. I could be wrong about that, but back then, nobody used Barrier. Barrier was very, very underused. Mainly because I think it was a time difference. I could be wrong. I don't know exactly about that. But let's talk more about champions. So what's on the screen right now is kind of a boring roster of champions that they picked. I'm like, most of these champions are unchanged. There's, don't get me wrong, slight changes to their kit. Lulu is basically the same champion. She has not been touched very much. Skarner is back. I do like old Skarner over the new Skarner, but I don't think he's that crazy of a pick. Even one of the casters says, "Oh, I'm gonna play Skarner because it's like Udyr." Guess what, guys? Udyr's not even gonna be in the game. Why? He's a season 1 champion, and he's not even gonna be in. They're gonna eventually add characters, they said, but I don't know why he's not even there. Most of the champions I want to play aren't even gonna be in day 1. Obviously, like I said, they're gonna add them over time, but I feel like just give us all what you got, you know, and then you can change a few things, go to different seasons and stuff like that. But let's talk about items. Obviously, we know, if you guys know the items, like this one right here. I don't remember exactly what it does, but that's the jungle item that builds into, and then you get, I don't know the names of them, but you just get different items. Red Elixir for the top laner. Red Elixir was broken as heck. We still have biscuits in the game. I think they just give mana in this edition. Normal wards, which are about 75 gold. It's like pink, and then these are gold income for your support. I mean, junglers can buy this too. I used to buy it because it was a nice gold income. Let's talk about champions, though, on the screen. I know I'm flip-flopping around, but we have Alistar. Alistar is pretty similar, except back then he used to be able to auto-attack when he lunged. Not always, but it was consistent. That's why he was a top laner. And then they kind of removed that from his kit, and then that's why he's in the top lane. Obviously, we talk about Skarner. Skarner is a good champion. Back then he wasn't that crazy. He didn't have those things around the map like in the jungle when he got reworked in the like so-called Juggernaut era. Even when he got reworked, nobody played him. So Skarner is still very, very similar. Like nobody really plays that champ. I don't get me wrong, I loved old Skarner, but I probably won't be playing that. Kassadin is good. He was a 90 8% win rate because of his silence and also his other abilities, obviously, but mostly the silence. Champion was just broken back then. Everybody loved him. Corky's, I don't remember what they changed with Corky, but he feels like a similar champion. I'm sure I'm wrong about that. He does have better damage, I'm pretty sure, back then. Gianna is the same champion. This champion, basically not many changes. I'm sure there are some with her wind. Her wind did get faster and stuff like that, but she's still pretty similar. The reason they got changed so much back then, or because a lot of champions got new champions came in the game. A lot of champions got reworked over time. They just had to rework these champions to make them viable in the meta. Lulu is like I said, basically the same. Vayne's very similar. Not many changes there. Karthus, the same champion, basically. Amumu, he doesn't have his second grab. Thank goodness. I hate that champion in normal league now, because he could just stun you and then stun you again. Back then he was actually not broken. Nowadays he's broken. And then we have Lee Sin. That champion's never been changed. Maybe abilities. Obviously he got a model change, right? Which we're gonna talk about that pretty soon. This is the old model. If it looks like the new one, it is not. But because I looked at it and seen if it was new or not. It is the old model of Lee Sin. But let's talk about skins. So they do have new skins in here. If you see the Amumu, this is the only one I know that's new. I'm sure there's the Lulu and stuff like that. But that's a new skin right there. Because that's the I'm pretty sure it's the glass one. Where I can't remember what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. The glass one or the ceramic one. And it's pretty new. And people were like mad about like skins being in here, and I'm not mad about it as long as it is the older model. It's like, all right, if we see Udyr and it's like, I don't want to see new Udyr's model. I want to see old Udyr's model. You know what I mean? Type stuff like that. So I'm not worried about like the skins and stuff like that. We don't want to see like, say if it's an old champion like Skarner and he gets a new skin, we don't want to see his new model. We want to see his old champion. And if you can't use those skins because it's a different model, just don't let him use it. You know what I mean? So that's fine for me. And I think maybe even like this Vayne has a new skin, which I don't mind it. I really don't. People are really mad about it, and I'm okay with it. To me, I understand it's not classic, but that's not what makes it classic. Like, yes, skins were not back then, but it's like it's fine to me. I really don't care that much. What I like about the jungle is obviously they got the normal jungle monsters. They actually went to season 4 jungle monsters, which is this one right here. I'm pretty sure it's season 4. I don't think it was in season 3. So it is technically in season 4, 3, and 1. There's a lot of item changes where it's just in between those, and they said they have modern UI elements, but we can't see the UI, so we don't know what that is. I hope it looks like old leagues, like season 3 league with the UI, but still have like, if they want to add the modern stuff, sure. I personally do not want to see the modern stuff. They said they have like jungle timers and stuff like that, which back then you didn't have those, which I liked not having that because that means you needed to get good at the game. And sometimes you need to get good and learn the game. Here, a little gank right here. I think they do not get this Lulu here because back then it was really hard to kill people. Nowadays it is, you just one-shot somebody if you have the right champion. That's what I like though about old league. We got 3 Doran's ring start. Apparently that was good back then. I don't remember it. Tier is expensive. Apparently it's like 700. It's 400 now. Back then I didn't like tier at all. I also didn't play very mid laners. I still don't even like tier. I think it's a bad item, but I understand why people think it's good. I just want it to be consumed and not even go into a item. He's dead here. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah. We talked about the items. We talked about some of the items. Obviously, I didn't talk about all of them because I don't know what's all in the game. I have to look at the actual files of the game, or as in like when the game comes out. But we can already know that they're excuse me, they're doing season 1, 2, and 3 items. That's around there. They're definitely changing up some stuff. We also have revive in here, which is nice because Karthix can just revive right here if he really wants. He doesn't kill here because, you know, he doesn't have damage. He's going Rod of Ages. But yeah, and then this Triforce. Triforce was so good back then because it had AP in it on Udyr, and obviously Udyr's not in here. But let's talk about what champions are gonna be in the game. I'm gonna say this, it is a very boring roster. It feels like most of them are already in league, just with slight changes. Like slight. Alright, let's talk about what champions are in. Ahri, obviously. They're gonna obviously put Ahri. Obviously her ultimate will not have the ultimate dashes and some changes. I don't know all the changes. Or do remember all the changes, but I know the ultimate used to not get multiple dashes. They added that to her kit because they wanted to get her a little bit better. Obviously, Alistar. Alistar was more of a top laner / support. You could play support with him, but a lot of people played him top. I think he even used to be able to jungle back in the day. Amumu, obviously, still always a jungler. He hasn't changed very much. He just has 2 satchels now with his grabbing. Very much similar champion. So most of these champions are very, very samey. Alistar has been changed a lot. I don't remember what Alistar there was, because he used to be super, super, super tanky, almost impossible to kill while also building AD items. But yeah. Because these people would just one-shot with that. Anivia, very similar champion. I don't think she's been changed very much. Annie, I don't know. I know Annie has been changed. She used to have... She has like a run now on her E. Like it gives her movement speed. Back then it did not. I don't think they have the bar underneath her to show how many stuns. But yeah, it does stack up to 4 times to get this stun. But back then it didn't show. Maybe they'll show it now. But yeah, because if you look on here with that champion, it had like little dashes on it. So they might have modern UI elements to show that stuff, because back then you didn't see that at all. Obviously we have Ashe. I don't remember anything about her being changed. I know she was changed a lot, I'll be honest, but I know she's been changed, but I don't know what Ashe they're gonna bring out. I'm just looking at the champion roster, not really looking at the abilities. Blitzcrank, he used to not slow himself back in the day. Now he slows himself. He also got more range on his grab. I do know that. And basically, similar champion. Brand did get changed. His passive, mainly, used to not pop. And that was about all the changes they did to Brand. Later on, Cho'Gath. I don't really think that Cho'Gath has been changed very much. He's still very, very similar. Corki, I know has been changed. I just don't remember what the changes are. Dr. Mundo has been changed a lot. He has been reworked. I actually prefer the old Dr. Mundo, where you toggled your E, your little circle thingy. And the cleaver was good, and everything about him I liked better. I think Dr. Mundo now is good. I just don't prefer him, because his new passive is broken. But his old passive wasn't that bad either. But Dr. Moon, I just prefer the old Doctor, just because you could toggle the E. Evelyn, completely different. Don't really remember the champion at all. I didn't like old Evelyn or new Evelyn. I'm sure some people did probably prefer the old one. I just remember her old ultimate was like a big circle that would like shoot up spikes. And I don't think you get knocked up. You get slowed. Ezreal hasn't been changed too much. He definitely had a on his W. It used to like, I'm not sure if it healed or gave you percentage or something of something. I don't remember exactly, but I know I'm saying I don't remember, but like this has been so long. I just know it like you could shoot it on an ally and it would buff them significantly. Old Fiddle was actually good. He could silence people by throwing crows. His ultimate was great. He was a great support. I think he wasn't that good of a jungler, even though he was a jungle champion. I think people will play him in the jungle, but I thought he was a way better support. Gangplank, completely different champion. He didn't have barrels back then. I actually can't remember too much about this champ. I know I'm saying I can't remember, but I genuinely didn't play many champions back then. I just know that he was completely different. They literally they did a thing where they just killed off that champion and got him back. Garen is kind of similar. They did do a Juggernaut update and then they kind of reverted him. But he's similar. There's not many changes that they did to him. I'm sure there's something, but he still spins to win, still presses R on you when you're low, stuff like that. And Gragas, apparently Gragas was broken back then. He wasn't a jungler, he was a mid laner. Back then I know his like dash used to look really goofy. He didn't really use his stomach, because I watched it in my gameplay. I don't know if they're gonna have it like that or not. But he used to just kind of run instead of like use his belly. So, but he's very similar. Obviously there's changes to him that I can't fully comprehend right now. But yeah. Heimer's changed for sure. I think he just now, no, I think he does empower every ability, but back then it was different. To what extent, I don't know. Janna, I do know that her range on her like wind thing, her like storm thing got buffed. Like it used to be slow and then they made it super fast. I think it's slow as heck now in this. J4, they don't touch this champ. This champion is a perfect champion. He's probably the only champion in the game where I'm like, yeah, that champion never needs to be touched. Jax has been changed. He's still a similar champ to an extent, but he used to have a dodge on his E, like dodging auto attacks, and then they got rid of that. He used to be able to like dodge turret shots. I didn't play back then, but I do know of it. But he's still similar, but like he could build AP nowadays. Back then I don't think he could build AP. I could be wrong about that. Karthus has not been changed very much. Still very similar champ. I don't think they've ever touched this champ. Nowadays I think in normal league he is not very good. Back then he was the mid laner because his ultimate was so good. Cassidin was broken back then. He used to have a silence. They got rid of that. He just run everybody over. Katarina got changed. Old Cat was a completely different champion. I tried to understand what she did back then, but I don't really remember her that much. Kale, she definitely got changed a crazy amount. She's not similar. She still feels like the samey, but not as powerhousey. I think new Kale is more powerhousey than old Kale. I could be wrong about that. Old Kale maidens could be like, oh, that's crazy. Kog'Maw. I don't think Kog'Maw used to build AP back in the day. I think he was just an AP champ. I wish they would tell me the old abilities on this website. They would, when I click on it, it just tells me the new stuff, which would be nice if I knew the classic stuff. But Kog'Maw still dies, still does this thing. I always wanted him to have a ground on his little spewy thing. But yeah, Lee Sin, they don't touch this champ. The only thing they touch about Lee Sin is numbers. Obviously, they gave him a new skin or new model. But yeah, Leona, I think Leona's similar. I don't think Leona's changed much. Lulu hasn't changed really since she's been released. Lux, I don't think she's been changed much. Malphite, I do remember a little bit of Malphite changes. I think his E got a lot better over time. But he's still rock solid. Malzahar, I think Malzahar was crazy different back then. If I'm not wrong. Yeah, he didn't have like his the pool on the ground when you ultimated. It only like it only stopped them. So it only did damage from the eyes. It didn't give like that little pool effect on his body. He did have voidlings, but I don't remember how much they were different back then. But I also just never played this champ. I don't think I ever will. It's just a point-click R champ. That is boring to me. Master Yi! Apparently APU was broken back then. That's what everybody says. Hopefully that's still in the game. That'd be nice to see. But to me, Yi was an AD champion all along. And I like him now, but I don't play him very much. Misfortune. Misfortune I don't think changed too much. Like a lot of these champions, I feel like they haven't changed a lot. Morgana, I don't think she's changed much at all. Nasus did get stacks over time. They gave him a lot more stacks when he was stacking people because he fell behind. Nidalee used to throw spears like crazy. She used to do crazy AP damage. Nunu is probably the one champion I'm like, yeah, he is an old good champion that I actually think deserves to be in the game. That like, oh, I want to go play old Nunu, you know what I mean? Like that's a champion I want to play, because half these champions I feel like I could play them in Modern League. Yes, I'll play them against broken champions, but you know, they're not changed very much. But Nunu, he used to throw one snowball. He used to consume like crazy. He still kind of does, but like it was crazy back then. He could buff his teammates, and his R was great. I just liked playing old Nunu. Olaf, they did change him. I know he executes on his like E now. Not like fully executes, but when he gets low, he like can heal up really fast on his W, I'm pretty sure. Old Pantheon used to be able to dodge like auto attacks, which with his passive, which was crazy. Basically he can dodge stuff now kind of with his shield effect, but it was on his passive, so he didn't even have to do anything back then. Rammus used to not do the jump. That was pretty much the only change they did to Rammus. Ryze was completely different. Ryze was actually a good champion back in the day. He used to actually use all his mana and make it do damage. And that was like the best Ryze you could have. And then they reworked him over and over again because they thought he was too broken in Pro, I'm pretty sure. I personally do not like new Ryze, do not like new Ryze all. I play the old Ryze, but not. Don't get me wrong, I play new Ryze every now and again just to try it. But I always regret playing the champ because it's just so bad. Shaco. Old Shaco is very similar, but he didn't throw boxes onto his clone. When his clone died, he didn't throw down boxes. So new AP Shaco probably wouldn't be as good. back in the day, he did used to be able to stack his boxes on top of each other so they could fear longer. And I'm not sure if they talked about this in the gameplay, or in this game review, because Freak does all the stuff with this. But back in the day, he used to be able to put boxes on top of each other, and they would fear like crazy. It was crazy damage too. But nowadays, you put a box on top of a box, it'll put it next to the box, so it can't stack on top of each other. Zion, completely different champion. Did not play him back then, but I have a friend that played him. You could play him AP or AD. My friend played him AP Zion, and that was cool. Singed. Singed nowadays, he can kill minions by just walking over them, and it'll execute the minions. I'm pretty sure that will not be in his old kit, because that was a very, very recent thing. His flip, I'm pretty sure when you flipped him back then, you used to not get the stun if you threw him in the goo. Nowadays that is a thing. It's kind of hard to do, but it's not that hard if you just set it up pretty easily. Sivir back in the day used to nowadays, I don't know back then, but nowadays when you use your barrier shield thing, it'll give you mana. Back in the day, it didn't really do anything. It would just stop an ability, but it would give you mana back nowadays, because mana is so important. Back then, you could just buy a mana potion. Skarner, completely different, old champion. He is a fighter nowadays. He is a tank. Some people do prefer the new Skarner. I prefer the old, but I prefer Juggernaut Skarner because he was better. When they did the Juggernaut rework is what I'm saying. But new Skarner or old Skarner wasn't that bad. I did like his point and click ultimate. But the reason it's good for that is you can bring him under your turret and then start fighting him. New Skarner feels like he doesn't have enough damage to kill somebody. Yes, he can, but sometimes I feel like he can't. He kind of needs to pull 3 people into his team to set it up. Old Sona apparently her old ultimate was wider, and her spells are different. I remember that when they reworked Sona, they changed her, but it still looks similar. But the spells got a little bit better. I don't remember. Old Soraka used to give you mana. I don't think they're gonna do that. Old Tarek had a point and click stun. That's all I really remember about that. Just a point and click stun. He's new ultimate. I think new Tarek is better than old Tarek, in my opinion. But they got old Tarek in here. Old Teemo. Only thing that I think about new Teemo that's different with old Teemo is old Teemo couldn't throw shrooms on top of his shrooms to bounce them. That's about the only change I know of. Tristana, she doesn't have her bombs that can throw onto turrets, because that was a big change. Surprised they don't have Caitlyn in here. Trendemir basically is the same champion. There is not many changes where they did with him. I'm sure they did number changes, but that's about it. Twisted Fate. Apparently they're doing really, really old Season 1 Twisted Fate, where his ultimate was on his ability. That's what I heard in the casters. That's crazy to me that they're going to do that, because I'm pretty sure he was changed to what he is now, basically similar in Season 3, but they're going back to like Season 1 Twisted Fate. New Twitch, old Twitch, I don't really, I'll be honest, I don't think he's been changed very, very much. Obviously his model has been changed, but I'm not sure if his AP scaling is crazy, because right nowadays his AP is crazy. Vayne's very, very similar. I think she's just good because a lot of champions are bad. Veigar hasn't changed very much, I'll be honest. Warwick, he has a point and click ultimate. very, very broken. It's new Warwick has to actually hit his abilities. This Warwick doesn't. I think new Warwick is better in a way, just because he can lifesteal so much. I don't think old Warwick lifesteals as much. I could be wrong about that, but yeah. Wukong. So Wukong, his clone doesn't mimic his abilities, and I'm pretty sure. And he goes through walls now. So he couldn't go through walls nowadays, or back then, with his clone. And his ultimate, I'm pretty sure, is only a one-time activation. Now you can activate it twice, and your ultimate, or your clone mimics it. Back then it did not mimic it. Cillian's very samey. He has not been changed very much at all. Obviously, his ultimate revives people, and stuff like that. And then that is it for the list of characters. If you guys want to look at that, just go look it up on League Classic. I'll put it in the link in the description. But that's all the champions that are confirmed. And that kind of makes me a little mad, because half the champions I want to play aren't even in the game. You know, like most of these champions, I'm like, I could play this in normal League. You know what I mean? Because not many of them have been changed that much. If you really want to play old Katarina, I'm sure you could play that. Old Nidalee was pretty good back then with her spear. But half these champs, I'm like, I don't know if I really want to play them. Dr. Mundo was cool when he was reworked. Nunu, I liked. Olaf, he's very similar. Obviously, he has changed. Old Pantheon, I did love. I'd probably want to play old Drives. I don't think I'd like to play old Shaco. Old Scion, I'd like to play. Singed is very similar. I don't think I would ever want to touch that. Skarner, I do like. I'd maybe play Tarek. I don't really think I'd want to play Tristana, because she's just a worse champion. But back then, it was also just like champions weren't as overtuned. And that's just how it feels like nowadays. Every champion just feels overtuned. But half these champions, I'm like, okay, I could probably play these. If you really want to play Evelyn, like old Evelyn, sure. We're just going to go back in this video, because I'm just rambling. But yeah, like half these champions, I'm like, oh yeah, I can pretty much play in normal League just with a few changes. So not really too excited about them. But the champions that are going to be futurely included, that are confirmed, are Akali, Caitlyn, Fiora, Graves, Aurelia, LeBlanc, Mordekaiser, and Urgot. I'm glad Mordekaiser is confirmed. I really want to play Old Mord, even though I liked Juggernaut Mordekaiser. Juggernaut Mordekaiser was when he could get the dragon. Obviously, that would be overtuned in that meta, so I don't think they're going to obviously do that. Old Graves was in actual ADC. Did not play him back then. Old Fiora was actually really cool. Her ultimate is like, it's kind of like Master Yi in a way, but you get to see her like do like the sword play. And I'm pretty sure they still use that in arenas. So if you ever played arena, you could like get Fiora's ultimate as like one of the spells. Old Akali, I don't really remember. I know she used to have a shroud. It was like a circle instead of the donut that they have. It was just a circle, and you could just go invis in that. I don't remember too much. Old Kate didn't used to headshot all the time. Like she could get headshot, but she didn't headshot from like all of her abilities hitting like her spells. Old Graves, talked about him a little bit. He was an ADC. Aurelia was completely different. She's not like the throwing the swords and stuff like that with her ultimate. She used to just throw one at a time, like kind of like Gwen. I'm kind of slow a little bit. Old LeBlanc, she's been changed a lot. Her old like E used to not be as long, like the throwing of the snare thing. It used to not be super like a long tether. Pretty sure that's been changed. I know that for a fact because Nowadays, I'm like, oh, that is way too long. Like, you will always get stunned by it if you're like in anywhere near. Old Urgot used to teleport people. Old Mord, he was a top laner for sure. But like I said, I don't really know too much about him. I don't think he had the cone. It was like, it would hit minions, just from like hitting it from here and here and stuff like that. But I like Juggernaut, Mordekaiser, but yeah. And then there's confirmed items. I don't really want to get into the item list, but both mobility is coming back. Obviously, Sightstone, stuff like that. The Razor item with the daggers. Oh, Feral Flare is coming back. That's actually insane. That's crazy. And then we got Banner Command. That's cool that that's coming back. Back then, Banner Command really wasn't that good. It took a while for them to buff it. But yeah, let's talk more about the game itself. Instead of items and stuff like that, I don't really want to get too much into the items. Let's talk about the map and the game itself. So, one thing I do not like about what they did to the map is they have the entrances. If you know in Old League, they do not have the entrances in Old League of Legends. That was added pretty later on into League. It wasn't even on this map. It was in the second map. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate them in normal League, but it is not a old League of Legends staple. And also we talked about the skins and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I don't really hate that the skins are like that. I just don't want to see new models of stuff. Obviously, they're gonna have new models of the old new skins because they always do that. They make a new model for the new skin. Like this is a new model for that skin. I don't mind it that much, but they also have emotes. I didn't even notice that. Back then, they did not have emotes. So apparently now you can use emotes. So they're adding modern into classic. So I don't know if I like that much because I do want it to feel like classic League of Legends, especially with the gate. The gate just kind of ruins everything because you can run it out of base normally like that, and if you really wanted like to feel like classic, you need to be able to go out the normal way. And I know that's kind of crazy to say, but yeah. And then there's items. Obviously, I don't want to go too into depth on the items because we don't know too much about them yet. Even if it says the item, we don't know what version of the item it is. We have to get into game talking about it. Hopefully, Quicksilver Stash is actually a good item. Because Quicksilver used to remove every single ability. Nowadays, it is garbage. It is literally useless. Nobody buys Quicksilver. But back then, it was good. Guardian Angel was a tank item back then, so hopefully it's a tank item again. Stuff like that. Just a little bit about the items. But yeah, hopefully you guys are excited about League. I know there are changes that are in the game that some people don't like, which I don't mind some of it, but I don't like that the gates being there. I like that they brought Season 4's, camp, obviously, but it wasn't in Season 3, and they're saying this is Season 3, but Season 4, they had it. So, at least they have another camp for it. They don't have Scuttle Crab. Scuttle Crab's not a thing. They only have dragons, and obviously Baron. No alcoves, obviously. We don't like those. But hopefully you guys are excited for it. There are changes that they did do to make it more modern, which I know it's going to upset a couple of people that do like Old League. Maybe you don't even know what Old League's like. Obviously, I don't remember a lot of champion changes. If you guys want to look them up, you guys can yourself. But I want to talk about my thoughts about them, not just like what stats and stuff like that. We'll figure it out when we get in the game. But there's a lot of champions that I want to see in the game, and that is not even in the game. Like specifically, ooh dear. Obviously, Mord's going to get added in the future, but and also Volley Bear, stuff like that. Like, I really want to play Old Volley. Old Volley was added probably later on, but Udyr was in the season 1. Like, I should be able to play that champ, and if we're going to season 3, he should be in the game. Just my opinion, guys. I want to play that champ. It's one of my favorite champions in the game. Hopefully you guys like this video. If you guys like it, make sure to hit the like button. I know it's a long one, but you know, I'm excited about this, but also wary because it is not fully classic. If you don't even have half your champions in the game that were in the game at that point. If you guys like it, like I said, like the video. If you guys want to see the original video of this, I'll put it in the description. Also, I'll put what list of champions and items are going to be in the game. I don't think they show what they do, but you know, you could at least see their old splash a little bit, stuff like that. All right, guys, I'll see you.